Hope you all are doing fine. Sorry about this squeaky chair. Guess it never bothered me before till I started doing these videos. I'm gonna have to get a new chair. I tried to stop the squeak. It's not happening, I guess. So this chair is pretty old, actually. It's done me well. It's really comfortable. I kind of hate to get rid of it. But well, get ready for the global reset. What is the global reset? Well, it's a meeting by the World Economic Fund, if I remember, I believe that's what it's called. Basically, a UN organization that wants to use COVID to reset the world. Um, well, just reset the whole world. They want to go back to, the New World Order. And they haven't been able to do that for the past 4 years. It's been uh, it's been stopped because if they can't include America in it, it's not going to work, and they know that. That's why they attack America like they do, and it encompasses three things: inequality, climate change, and change in capitalism. So one of the things they're talking about is there needs to be a new Marshall Plan for the world. Well, go figure. Who's going to fund that? Pay for that? Us. Earlier they were calling for a world tax. I wouldn't be surprised for that to come around too. Then, of course, climate change is involved with it. Let me tell you two stories of environmentalists and the damage they do. One is when I first got to Elmendorf, which was '94. Our shop was on the base. We took care of my job in the Air Force was power plants and what we called aircraft arresting barriers. And aircraft arresting barriers, you know how when a plane comes in and lands on a carrier and it catches that cable and stops it? That's Air Force has the same thing. And so our shop was right on the flight line. And when I first got there, the first day I driving over there were all these geese right there on. I mean, I'm not 100 feet from the flight line, and there's geese by the hundreds and thousands. And I got into the shop, and my first question for them was, "Where's your FOD at? This is a hazard." They said the environmentalists won't let us do anything with them. I'm like, this is going to get somebody killed. And they just shrugged their shoulders and moved on. So about a month later, I was I had a crew out on the flight line. We were working at the end of the flight line, and two F-16s took off. Maybe they were 15s. I don't remember what Elmendorf had now. In battle formation, which means they take off like this. And as soon as they got right over our head, a gaggle of geese flew through. I mean, the one pilot went vertical like this. The other pilot flipped upside down and flew underneath of them. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, I've got firsthand view of this. I mean, it's happening right over my head. And they're not, I don't know, 50, 60 feet above the ground. They had just taken off. And so I'm pretty sure it was the same year. I guess I should have looked this up. But it was before the snow hit because it was still fall or summer, whatever it may be. And we just got into the shop, and all of a sudden, over the radio came an AWACS had crashed. So we started getting all our stuff together. And we drove out on the flight line. We were out on the flight line probably 5 minutes after the call came through on the radio. And what you seen on that flight line, it looked like about 2/3 of the way down, it looked like somebody took hundreds of thousands of pillows and busted them open, and they all landed on the runway. Then right after that, it looked like a couple garbage trucks loaded with metal and stuff like that went through and just dumped it all the way down. I don't remember how many people died in that crash, but they actually started doing FOD out there, putting things like cannons out. These aren't cannons shooting geese, or cannons that they'll fire off to scare the geese to get them to go away, putting the fake foxes out, that type of thing. And environmentalists killed them people. Make no mistake about it. The other one is 1 million people a year were dying in Africa from malaria. Well, they started spraying DDT, and the deaths just hit the floor, fell off. And they did that for a number of years. We're talking 1 million people a year, all right? And then all of a sudden, UN decided it wasn't environmentally conscious to spray DDT. So they stopped spraying. Well, what happened? The deaths automatically went back up to 1 million a year. It went that way for years until finally somebody came in to the UN and said, look, there's a time that we got to put people's lives over the environment. But DDT doesn't affect the environment. When I lived in Turkey, they used to come through with the truck and spray it all the time. I don't know. I can tell you what it smells like and tastes like. But that's what happens when we start listening to these environmentalists. And you make no mistake about it. Just like them Paris Treaty Accords, environmental treaty accords, this isn't about the environment. It's about the New World Order and hurting the American economy. Because they'll carve out exceptions for Europe. Like, the Dutch? Really, the only industry they got is ships. Well, they carved out an exception for them on ships. Of course, there's no exceptions for Americans. No. Can't have that. China, India, excluded from it, or at least until like 2040 or something like that. The two biggest polluters on the earth, by far, where the filth in them two countries is undescribable. I had they put up huge screen TVs in Beijing, I think it was, or maybe Shanghai, one of them two, because the pollution's so bad that they can't see the sun. So they put up these huge screen TVs so they could see the sun. I had a friend that went over there and he waited in line. I think it was to see Mao's tomb or something like that. And he was wearing a suit. And he got back to the hotel and he took off his jacket. And you could see where his jacket was because everything else was dark from all the pollution. But no, they don't have to. They don't have to do anything. It's just America. And let me tell you, that's how it's going to be. And then finally, the change in capitalism. Well, what's that tell you right there? What's that tell you right there? We're going to bring socialism to the United States. And I think they're going to go full court press on this. If Biden takes office, I think they're going to see a window where they can press and press hard, just like they did with Obama, especially if they win both of them special elections in Georgia. And make no mind about it, they're going to pump millions and millions of dollars into them. And we just got to hope that the people of Georgia smart out. But again, that voting system that they use, and the Georgia Secretary of State and the Georgia governor, who are both Republican, don't seem to care. As a matter of fact, I guess the Secretary of State is a big-time never Trumper. And, this recount that he's doing, they're not allowing verification of signatures. What's the use of doing a recount? What is the use of doing a recount when you got all these fake ballots that, supposedly are signed, but if you can't compare it to the voter rolls, what good is it? So he might as well be a Democrat as far as this election goes. And they don't seem to care. That's the amazing part. These so-called Republicans are helping the Democrats at the fault, or not fault, that's not the right word, at the detriment to the country and the Republican Party. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. We got to fight through this one way or another, because if they ever do get their claws into us, it's going to be tough to pull them claws out, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. All right, thank you all. You have a good day. Bye.